So I'm Gabrielle Coppersmith, for anyone who hasn't met me. I am a 500-hour certified yoga teacher. What that means is I took 500 hours to basically study anatomy, physiology, philosophy. So I'm not a doctor, but I just know a little bit about the body. So I'm here to talk to you guys about balance and spinal health. They go hand in hand in a certain aspect, but we're going to start with balance and then kind of work our way into spinal health. So this worksheet is for you guys to take home, to take any notes on anything that I say to you, or just leave it at the door, whatever you want to do. So just kind of starting here at the top, the three essential elements to balance are alignment, strength, and attention. So alignment is aligning our body's center of gravity with the Earth's gravitational field. So when I'm standing on 2 feet here, pretty evenly, my feet can be hip distance or apart. You can kind of think of your center of gravity as being right through the middle of your body. So then if you start to shift your weight from 1 foot, you're going to shift it to one side or the next. If you start to shift your weight into the balls of your feet, you shift that weight forward. If you shift your weight back on your heels, you lift your arms up, you raise your center of gravity. And if you lower down, you lower your center of gravity. So all of these things are affecting your balance within each and every single moment. So just understanding where your body is within space is going to help you with balance. And then after that is strength. So we have to have the strength for our body to hold us up in balance. So when you think of that, I often like to think of the feet first, actually. So the feet are really the foundation of your being. If anything is going wrong with your feet, then other things are bound to happen as well, off the chain. So when you think of your foot, you can almost think of it as this triangular pad. So if you had this little triangle being drawn on the bottom of your foot, that's what you're actually using to balance. You aren't really involving your toes. So if you ever want to check your balance throughout the day, you can even lift your toes up and just kind of give them a little bit of a wiggle. And from here, you might kind of notice your weight begin to shift. So sometimes your weight can come to the inner arches of your feet. Sometimes it'll start to come to the outer edges of your feet. But that is just building into the third principle, which is awareness. So like I was mentioning before, you have to know where your body is within space to find balance. So having that awareness within each and every single moment that you can will help bring more balance to your body by being aware where it is. So a great example is oftentimes when we're standing on our feet, you might notice that your weight kind of shifts from one leg to the other. This is going to tell you why you balance on 1 foot better than the other, because your body is used to that. This is a habit that you've built within yourself. So some of those benefits of using balancing postures throughout your day, practicing balancing postures, first of all, is presence, as I was talking about, just that presence within your own body, that spatial awareness of where you are. So maybe you stub your toe a little bit less throughout your day. Improved posture is another one. When we have that awareness of how we are within space, we start to maybe stand up a little bit taller. We maybe start to notice when we start to tighten our jaw or that space between our eyebrows. Another benefit of balance is a little bit of grace and humility, because when you are doing something that you're not very used to doing, you have to be patient with yourself. It's over time that we learn balance. We're not going to get within these balancing postures right away and know what we're doing, just like when we hopped into a bike the first time, we didn't know what we were doing. So give yourself some grace and humility, because some days are going to be better than others, because every single day that you wake up, roll out of bed, it feels different. And last but not least, it builds neuroplasticity. So kind of like the whole bike situation, when you're doing something new, your brain is building a new neural connection. So it's connecting your brain and your body in that moment to understand what you're doing, so that in the future, when you go back to do this again, you have that basis of what you're trying to do. So some postures now to help improve your balance. So I put them in the Sanskrit version because, again, yoga teacher, and then I put the English version afterwards. And these are pretty easy postures that you can look up online. You can just take a few notes as I begin to demonstrate them to you. So the first posture that I put down there is not actually a balancing posture, but it's something to help prep your body for a balancing posture. So that first one is Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. So what this does is it starts to build strength within the backside of your body. And what this does is oftentimes when we think of our core, people are like, oh, you have to have this tight core. Well, you just think about the front side of your body. We don't often think about the back side when actually this whole space is your core. So Bhujangasana is a pose where you start on your belly. Now your hands can be under your shoulders, or some people like their hands pulled back towards the top of the rib cage. It's going to depend on how your shoulders feel. And what you're going to do is start with your forehead on the ground. Start to lift your head and your chest, just going however high you can. Maybe starting right here, this is a great place to be. So what you start to notice is your shoulders will start to draw in, and the back side of your body is doing the work here for me. So typically you keep your hands on the mat, but if you want to test your body, you can lift your hands up slightly. Again, this lower back, this lumbar spine is where you're going to be feeling the sensation and the strength. And then to come out of it, just allow maybe one ear to rest down, relax your hands, and then just do it a couple more times at your own pace. Maybe each time just lifting up a little bit higher. But again, we're not pressing into our hands to let it do the work. We're letting the lower back do the work here for us, really prepping us for that balancing posture to help our back support us.
Does that also help with strengthening the back when you're doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's kind of the point is
Right.
most people have more of a strong front side body than back side body.
Right.
Just because we use our back side body so much throughout our day that these muscles often get weak or tight. So if you're already noticing tightness within that as you're doing the cobra pose, you might need to take some time to lengthen and stretch out some of those spaces, which I will get into when we get into spinal movements. Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So the next one is a pretty popular balancing posture, Vriksasana, also called tree pose. So many different variations of this posture. And what I love about variation is it allows you to use your curiosity to see what works for you, because how my body's built and how your body is built is very different. So knowing with balancing postures, you can always start at a wall here first. You don't have to start in the middle of some space. If you ever feel that you want that support throughout your day, always start at a wall. So with Vriksasana, what you would do is you would shift your weight into one of your legs here, and you would start to bend the opposite knee and open up the hip. Now I would just start with that foot right at the ankle, hands at heart center. You're focusing on rooting down through the foot, and you're gonna feel the foot wiggle and wobble, that's okay. And you're thinking about reaching up through the crown of your head. Now, when you maybe want to start to test yourself, you can play around, lifting your hands up, it'll shift that center of gravity up. You can also start to move the leg up, the foot up the leg. The only thing is do not place it against your kneecap, very sensitive joint within your body. So then you go ahead, do it on the other side, and again, you're gonna notice one side is either gonna be a little or a lot different than the other. That's okay, don't judge yourself, just allow yourself some of that grace and humility, some of that awareness to understand, okay, this is how I move within my day, and this is what my body's starting to tell me about my movements. So again, you can do those variations on either side if you choose to do so, or start right at this space, rooting down through the foot, reaching up through the crown of the head. Now after that, we have Garudasana, eagle pose. This one creates a little bit of compression along with balancing as well. So there is a upper part of the body and a lower part of the body to this. Typically you want to put your upper body in it first before you start with the lower body. So eagle arms, you bring your arms out nice and wide. You're gonna bring one elbow under the other. You're gonna either grab opposite shoulders, this is your first option. Second option is to bring the backs of the palms together. If you really start to get into it, you can be somebody that crosses the wrist, if your wrist like that. Most people don't though. So finding one of these variations, and then what you're gonna start to do is you're gonna start to lower that center of gravity here. So I'm starting to shift my weight back through my hips and from the balls of my feet into my heels. So I'm lowering that center of gravity and starting to find compression in the upper body. From here, you're gonna start to bring one leg over the other. So you have compression in the shoulders and the hips. This is a really nice flush for your lymphatic system as well. So you can just keep that toe on the ground. Awesome place to be. Over time, maybe you lift the toe up and off the ground. This again is up to you and how you're feeling. When you're ready to come out, you just set the foot down, bring the arms out nice and wide. Make sure you find some movement between each space, whatever feels good, rolling out shoulders, shaking out legs, and then always take it to the other side, so making sure that you even out each way. Again, notice, one side is gonna be a little or a lot different than the other. That's okay. Any questions about,
So to do some of these kind of things, do you do it for a couple minutes? I mean, obviously we're not in a yoga class, so how long do you do poses where you're gonna get the best benefit?
I would say as long as you can, as long as your breath allows you. That's my very last note here, is your breath is really the key to all of these postures. Your breath is going to tell you when it's okay to go in these spaces and when it's not. So if you are ever forcing or holding your breath, that's your body saying, no, we're not safe here. So hold this as long as you can keep your breath moving at a nice steady pace. And once you feel that breath starting to shift out of it, give yourself some space, like I said, to move in any way that feels good after that. So yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, of course. So the last one that I have here is called Dandasana, balancing stick pose. So this is also a balance posture on your legs. So this one, you are going to bring your hands together and reach them up. You're going to step one foot ahead of you at a time. And this right here can be your Dandasana, just lifting that back toe up, starting to reach your hands up and away from you. Now, over time, you would start to shift your center of gravity by shifting the hands down, lifting the foot up. And again, this right here, this is Dandasana. Over time, maybe you complete yourself into a T shape. Maybe you don't. That's okay. We're not doing about right or wrong. It's not about good or bad here. It's about that awareness again. How does your body feel? Where is it needing some extra attention? So just testing with each side, staying here, knowing that you can go further or you can't. You don't have to. It's, again, your choice how your body feels within that space that day. So any other questions about balance or anything along those lines? Okay, beautiful. All right, so shifting into spinal health. So on the back side, you'll see the little couple notes about spinal health. So your spine contains 6 different ranges of motion. So forward bending, we're all pretty familiar with this. When you think of a forward bend, this is often what people think of. But what most people don't know is that standing on your feet and sitting in your chair is also a forward fold. So what does that mean for our bodies? Well, that means that that front side of your body is always working. It has these muscles, the front side of your body is starting to tighten because your muscles are becoming shorter. Where the back side of your body is doing all the work for you. These muscles are long, they are tight, and over time they get tired. That's why you often see people with lower back issues, because we are constantly in a forward fold. So forward fold, these muscles shorten, these muscles lengthen. Now backward bending is the opposite. We start to backward bend, we start to lengthen these front side muscles and shorten the back side of our muscles, giving them a little bit of a relief here. Well, hopefully some relief. Then from there, you have your side bending. So side bending, lateral flexion of spine. We're moving the spine in this little curve shape. And then last but not least, twisting from left to right. Now, a fun little thing about twisting is that your spine has 3 different sections: cervical spine, thoracic spine, lumbar spine. And your thoracic spine, that midsection of your spine, is really the part of your spine that's built for your twisting range of motion. So know that if you are someone that does any postures with twisting, don't expect your whole entire spine to be moving into that twist. Really focus on that chest and shoulder area moving over to the side. So why is this important? Because when we only move our spine in 1 or 2 of these directions, we begin to lose our mobility within our whole entire spine. So between each of your vertebrae that make your spine are these little vertebral discs. They're kind of like jelly-like pockets, if you've ever heard about this. So what these little jelly-like pockets do is they give us that mobility to move without the vertebrae rubbing each other, because that's when you hear about degenerative disc disease and a lot of pain with that. So that's why we want to keep our spine moving in these different directions. So do you ever notice when you move a certain direction, you hear a pop or a crack in your spine or joints? Yeah, it happens super often, right? So this is your body pushing out air pockets that get trapped in these joints. Because when we aren't moving ourselves in these different directions, these air pockets start to build. So when you start to move again, you're pushing out the air and you're inviting in what's called synovial fluid, the natural lubrication for our joints. So getting into some postures to help improve spinal health. This first one is called banana asana, banana pose. What I love about this one is you kind of let gravity and time do a lot of the work here for this one in particular. So you'll find yourself just lying on your back here. If it feels good, you can reach your arms up and overhead. Sometimes our shoulders are going to have a little bit of limitation just due to habits or previous injuries. So know that you can always relax your arms down to your side for this one as well. So what we start to do is we walk our feet and our hands in the same direction. Now notice that I'm not going as far over as I can reach. That's not going to help me at all. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let my feet and my fingertips, or if my hands are at my side, the crown of my head, start to reach over in these opposite directions. And I'm starting to lengthen the side of my body here. If we go in the other direction, we're starting to lengthen the opposite side of the body. So not only is this going to help you with that lateral flexion of spine, that side bending, it's also going to give you a little bit of opening within all the way from the top of the thigh to the top of the rib cage, sometimes into those shoulders or biceps as well. So any questions about that one? Okay, awesome.
I knew she couldn't. She's out of time.
Okay, and then after that, do not worry about these Sanskrit words. Again, I just put them here for my own purpose. Parivrtta Marjarasana, thread the needle or revolved cat pose. So this one, again, you're letting gravity do some of the work here for you.
Have a good night. Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to start in a tabletop position. You always want to kind of bring your wrists over your shoulders, knees underneath your hips to the best of your ability. From here, you are going to take one hand, reach it up, and then you're going to thread through. Now know that, again, if you ever want some support, you could always have a pillow here to lay your head and your shoulder on. That could always be supportive if you feel that you need the ground to be a little bit closer to you. So what you're doing, you're going to thread through and lay your ear and your shoulder down. And you're just going to reach that opposite hand up if that feels good. If you want to keep it close by, that's okay too. So what we're doing is we're starting to work into that thoracic spine, starting to find that twisting range of motion. And again, what I like about this one is gravity is doing some work here for you. It's starting to draw you down to the ground as your muscles relax. So this is where that breath becomes a key part again. If you're allowing that breath to move and flow at a steady pace, over time, your muscles will start to soften. And that's when you get to some deeper spaces of your body, like your tissues, your ligaments, sometimes even your joints. Any questions about that one? Okay, awesome. All right, last one is Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. So this one I have a little note that you can do a supported bridge pose if you want more of a stretch, or you can do an unsupported bridge pose if you want to do a little bit more strengthening within your body. So I'm just going to grab a block real quick to demonstrate this. So you don't have to have yoga props to be able to do this. If you have a book, you could do this. If you have a cushion this size, you could do this. So with this bridge pose, you're going to lie on your back. If you can, you're going to bring your ankles under your knees, or if that doesn't feel good, that's all right. You can let the ankles be out a little bit. Just try to keep your hips in alignment with your knees. So our supported bridge pose, we take our block or our prop and we place it right underneath our sacrum, the place where your spine meets your tailbone. So this is supported bridge pose. I'm just gonna lay here for anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. And again, let gravity draw my body down towards the ground to find that lengthening for the front side of my body as we're in this backward bend here. Now, if you want to do an unsupported bridge pose, you want to build strength within the back side of your body.
You're gonna place your hands down, press into your heels and your palms, lift your hips up, and you can stay here for as long as you would like, just allowing that breath to move. You can make it a flow, maybe exhaling, bringing the hips down, inhaling, bringing the hips up. Again, it's really up to you, whatever you're kind of looking for from this space. But that is just a nice backward bend to, again, find that opening for front side of the body. If you want to make it into a little bit more strengthening, you'll find that strength in the lower back, the hips, and the glutes.
So Gabby, if I have pain in my lower back and specifically in the hips, that's a good stretch for that.
The supported one, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, the unsupported, if you're already feeling tight in that space, is just gonna make it feel worse.
Sure.
Kind of like that cobra pose I was talking about. If you have a tight back, cobra pose is probably gonna feel a little awkward for that space. So yeah, the supported one, lay on it for anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, just as long as your body can tolerate. And then come out of it, just let your hips come down, and then maybe do like a little windshield wiper knees, just let your knees move a little bit, or hug your knees into your chest to kind of help reset the spine from that backward bend. Yeah, thanks for asking. All right, so we did side bending, we did twisting, we did backward bending, so last but not least, forward bending with our last pose, Balasana, child's pose. So again, one that gravity does a lot of work here for you. A couple different variations. Some people like knees together. This can be a nice way to support your upper body as your upper body lays down. You can have your knees apart. This creates a little more space for your body to move down. Some of us may need to put a blanket or a pillow on the backs of our calf muscles to support our hips if our hips can't come down to our ankles. And then from here, you just start to reach your hands forward. Lay your head down on the ground. So what this is doing is it's giving me this rounding within my spine, this forward bending. And we're just letting gravity slowly draw our forehead down to the ground. You can even add a little side bending in with this one if you ever like. You can always reach your hands over to the sides and add in a little side bend as well. But this is just a posture that, again, you can hold anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, just depending on how supported your body feels. If you ever notice that your forehead is really far away from the ground, feel free to, again, hold yourself accountable by finding that support. So knowing that finding support, this really allows, again, our muscles to relax, and then that stretch can go a little bit deeper into the tissues and the ligaments.
So the more relaxed, the more you're gonna get out of it.
Out of these specific postures,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there are postures that you can have an active version of, which all of these qualify to have an active version of them. So it's really what you're looking for within your own body.
Okay.
So when you have more props supporting you, that's going to give you more of the relaxing atmosphere, more of that opportunity to soften the muscles. But when you start taking away the props, like in thread the needle, if you had a pillow, you'd be supported. But if you don't have that prop and thread the needle, it's going to be a little bit more active.
Sure.
Like I said, because gravity is doing a little bit more work trying to bring you down closer.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So the child pose, I love that pose.
Yeah.
So good.
It is, but my problem is I've had a hip replacement, a knee replacement, so I cannot, like my knee will only do that. Like I can't do anything. So when I do it, I feel like I'm doing it wrong because I can't sit on, I can't put my knees totally together. Am I doing worse on my body trying to do it if I can't put my knees together like that?
So I can't tell you about your body.
Right, yeah, that's true.
But you know best. But I will say, like I said, the alternative, you could bring like a pillow behind this space and just have a pillow supporting you and reach your hands forward.
Okay, so that's right. Okay, so that would be...
Or I would say go on your back. Go on your back, hug your knees in towards your chest, and then reach your arms up and overhead. This is Balasana, child's pose, just reverse. This is if I was on my back. If I reversed it, I'm in child's pose. That's the beautiful,
That was great.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it is you just make it work for yourself. That's like if you can't do a forward fold, if you have a hard time with a forward fold, go for legs up the, I'm just gonna borrow the wall real quick.
Please do, yeah.
Go for legs up the wall so you can bring yourself close as you can to the wall and just bring your legs up. And again, right here, I'm in a forward fold. If I reach my arms up and overhead, I'm technically in downward dog because that is the same angle that I'm in downward dog.
I do that in bed all the time.
Legs up the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful stretch for your hamstrings and actually really good for your circulatory system.
Okay.
So yeah, there's definitely always alternatives. That's why I said props are one of my favorites. They help support you. But yeah, just start to think about the alternatives to those postures where, like you said, it doesn't work for your body. You know it doesn't work for your body, so why try to force it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So good on you for listening and honoring, because that's like all about what the awareness piece is about. Because if we don't know where our bodies are in space and how they're feeling, that's how we're going to find ourselves building these habits that over time are probably going to lead to injury. Yeah, because we're just not aware of ourselves. So yeah, thank you for asking that. So yeah, the last part that I put on this is, like I was just saying, the most important tool with all of these postures is your breath. Be sure that no matter where you are, your breath is always moving and flowing at a steady pace. Your breath is the anchor that allows your body to stay present and safe. If you're ever forcing or holding your breath, your body is telling you to get out of that shape. Because in my eyes, this is really all that we're doing. Yoga asana, or the postures, is essentially creating different shapes so that you experience sensation. And through that sensation, you're creating a connection between your brain and your body again. Because often when we're going throughout our days, we're like, oh my gosh, what do I have for dinner? When am I going to drive my car? What color am I going to wear? All these silly little things that get us out of our body. And then that's when we're not noticing where we are. That's when we stub the toe, we bump the elbow, we knock our knee on something. So really creating these shapes is just creating that presence back within ourselves, at least in my eyes. So yeah. So yeah, does anyone have any other questions or?
No, but that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a
I so have an idea what I'm doing tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is you don't have to dedicate, 20 minutes out of your day to this. This could be like a 5-minute routine. You go, oh, let me shift on my feet real quick. Let me challenge myself in my center of gravity in all these directions. So it doesn't have to be some big elaborate thing that you dedicate yourself to. It's just maybe a quick little 1-minute check-in throughout the day. You're at your desk. Oh, what am I doing with myself right now? Like, am I slumped over? Am I holding my jaw? What are my toes doing? Where are my feet? Just those little check-ins can even be really helpful throughout the day. So, yeah. Yeah, well, thank you guys for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Of course, yeah. Like I said, feel free to bring those worksheets home. If you ever have any questions, yeah, you can email me, whatever.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Gabby also has some cards up at the front on my desk too. If
Yeah, of course.
interested to grab one.
Okay.
And some pamphlets too up there about
Yeah, the little yoga builder
yoga
pamphlets.
business.
Oh, I'll take the clipboards. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, of course. Thanks for
so
coming.
glad you guys came.
I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
I have really bad vertigo.
Mm.
Last time I did yoga,
Mhm.
it set my
Oh,
vertigo
thanks